All right. Um, this video is only going to be about DEI and how Trump's hatred of DEI can lead to horrible things and some of them quite funny. And I'm just going to read you this headline. I'm not going to go into the article. Trump admin mocked for purging picture of historically important airplane with gay name, meaning the Enola Gay, which is what dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. Or Hiroshima. I'm really not sure how it's pronounced. But still, that's how crazy this is. I mean, this is why I am against filtering to begin with. I mean, the idea might be good, but then you have stupidity like this. You know, it's one thing to wanting to protect children from certain subjects, but it's so broad. Like with the Enola Gay, there was a track and field sprinter named Tyson Gay. And there was an article that was calling him Tyson homosexual. Simply because people can't accept that the word gay exists. Now, I have no idea how that would work for, say, the 50s when gay still meant happy. I mean, that would have been absolutely hilarious to say, "Oh, I'm gay," to mean I'm happy, and it turns out that they change it to homosexual because, words are hard, apparently. But anyway, the subheading is that they're such petty fucking idiots. Which, yeah. So anyway, he's being mocked for it. So let's see if I can find the mocking. Alright. Enola Gay. These fuckers are bigots and fucking idiots too. And that was in response to references to a World War II Medal of Honor recipient, the Enola Gay aircraft that dropped an atomic bomb on Japan, and the first women to pass Marine infantry training are among the tens of thousands of photos and online posts marked for deletion as the Defense Department works. And this post goes on, but it's truncated. And I mean, seriously. So we're going to erase history? I'm not a big fan of smoking. But when there was that craze back in, the 90s, early 2000s, of taking iconic photos or iconic scenes from movies and removing the person smoking a cigarette, I thought was dumb. Because, okay, you want to show people that smoking isn't cool and it's not sexy. Okay, fine. But the fact is, people smoked. Less now, but still, people at one time smoked. Let's not erase history just in our zealousness, our zeal to push a narrative. I realize that the history is written by the victors, but let's be at least somewhat realistic here. I mean, it's not like people haven't heard of the Enola Gay. And people are still going to hear about the Enola Gay even when Trump and his morons remove that picture because it exists. There's this thing called the internet. It's not like they can't find this information elsewhere. It is stupid. Alright, another post. Apparently, image of Enola Gay bomber was removed because it has the word gay in it. You can't make this stuff up. Exactly. I mean, what the hell? Okay, it has the word gay. Enola Gay was named after the pilot's mother. So it's a name. Again, I also mentioned Tyson Gay. Are we going to remove any and all images and references to him? It's stupid. Let's see. And this was in response to a post. The AP has obtained and tonight published, a database of the file names and descriptions of more than 26,000 military images flagged for removal because the pictures highlight contributions by women or minorities or celebrate heritage, or DEI. Now, I mean, okay, you want to erase certain groups of people. But again, people know that these people existed. Why are you trying to erase them? It's in this day and age of the internet. You can't do that anymore. Unless you go full China and make it impossible for them to access the internet outside of what China's government accepts. People are going to find the truth. Yeah. And I wouldn't put it past Trump to actually want that. All right, another response. When I'm elected president, let's see. I'm going to order my Secretary of Defense to remove Pete Hegseth's name and image from the entirety of the Pentagon and all military bases. Then I'm going to fund scholarships in Hegseth's name for trans students of color to liberal universities. Oh my God. Another comment. How exactly does this benefit the U.S.? Exactly. How does it benefit the U.S.? I mean, when people look for the bomber that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima, what is it going to return? Nothing? This bomber doesn't exist? Seriously. These people don't even bother to think even a little bit. They've decided that they are going to remove anything that I heard on Pod Save America that one of the buildings that was temporarily up for sale on the GSA website, the non-core buildings, which turned out to be a lot of core buildings, was a CIA black site. And so, of course, they were joking that they probably heard black site and thought it was some DEI thing. Same thing here. There is nothing diversity, equity, or inclusion. I guess unless you want to go with the fact that it was named after a woman. Because a pilot named it after his mother, which I have mixed. If I was this guy's mother, I would have mixed emotions about about a bomber being named after me when the whole point of it is to drop a nuclear bomb on a innocent society simply because we're at war with their government. So, I have no idea what she thought, if she was even alive at this point, to think about it, but yeah, what the hell. Alright, laughed my ass off. They quite literally flagged this image, all because it contains the word gay as mentioned. This administration is incredibly incompetent. Yes, they are. They're very incompetent. So, I mean, they've fired a bunch of people they shouldn't have. Now they're claiming that they're going to work in tandem with the cabinet secretaries to make sure that only the people who should be fired are fired. And then they're going to yowl if no cuts are made. Because they just want to show people that they're saving us money when they don't understand that, just because there might be some inefficiencies, and if you talk to former members of the government, they will tell you that there are ways to make government more efficient. This forcing agencies to cut even when everybody who works there actually needs to be there is not the way to do it. There are plenty of ways to make things more efficient without forcing things into your little box because you're incapable of understanding the world outside of your little bubble. All right, let's see. Oh, there's more more posts about this. Then they're going to claim there's no record of accomplishments by women and minorities. Exactly. Exactly. That is the long game. There's no better way to claim that white men are inherently superior than by erasing any accomplishment by women and minorities. I mean, hell, there are men who say that up until a certain point in history, men accomplished so much, and what have women done? Yeah, because you didn't let women accomplish stuff. It's that sort of mentality. Not that women are incapable, but women weren't allowed. And it's a similar thing here. Let's just erase the accomplishments so the poor, fragile egoed white men, can point and say, see, we're the only ones who've done anything of consequence. All right. And then the subheading, they are such petty fucking idiots. Let's see. They're trying to erase and hide history from the public record. It's equivalent to Nazi book burning. Exactly. Except, like I said, unless they somehow cordon off the internet for Americans so that they can only see what the government wants them to see, a la China. The difference between this and Nazi book burning is that unless you left Germany, you had no way of getting these books. So, and most people probably couldn't leave Germany. Same thing here. Unless the internet is cordoned off, so only government sanctioned information is allowed in, which I wouldn't put it past these numbskulls to attempt. The information is still out there. Alright. These fuckers can't do anything right. Okay? Very bold of this poster to think that they were, trying to not censor that. I mean, it's highly possible that was a mistake because, again, Enola Gay is a name and not having anything to do with homosexuality. But it is a woman's name, so, again, possibly right that they didn't intend to do that because they've proven that they can't do shit at all. Anytime they try to do something, they just make things so much worse. Which, again, not completely convinced that isn't the goal, but literally just flagged everything with a person of color or woman. This isn't a policy based on simply ensuring fairness, but rather based on racism and misogyny. Exactly. Hegseth is the biggest snowflake of them all. I don't know if he's the biggest snowflake. I mean, that's a very very tough competition there. But yeah, I mean, seriously, what are you so afraid of that you are getting rid of any depiction of women or minorities, or the fact that in this case they got rid of the name of the bomber that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima? I mean, I do not understand. Maybe, like I said, they'll realize their mistake, or maybe they'll be like, it's a girl's name, so whatever. Anyway, so I have a couple of actual articles for you that also shows just how the extent of the horribleness that people will go to. Now, let's start with the less horrible. Wyoming Governor signs bill that allows inmates to sue prisons if housed with a trans person. Of course, my question is, how the fuck will you know that? If said trans person has completely transitioned to the point that they've had all the surgeries, how will you know? I mean, the only way is if they haven't had bottom surgery. Because I don't know. I don't know how good the surgeries are if the penis and vagina are just cosmetic and they can't actually pee out of that. I know that the surgery for a vagina is much better than is for a penis. But unless they can't pee out of whatever new organ they had, I'm not sure how you would know. That and the fact that I don't know how good science is at recreating a penis. So, okay, he didn't say why he signed the bill pushed by Republican state lawmakers. Oh, I'm pretty sure I can think of a few reasons. Let's just get to the article. Wyoming passed a new law banning trans people from using facilities matching their gender this week. So, same old shit. Okay. Now, I've mentioned this before. There are trans men out there who I sure as hell wouldn't want to share a bathroom with them. I mean, I would take one look and say, dude, what the hell are you doing in here? And that's when I would get nervous because they're men. So I wouldn't want them in the bathroom. Anyway, Governor Mike Gordon, a Republican, signed HB 72 this past Monday, which requires people to use facilities, including restrooms, locker rooms, and prisons, associated with their sex assigned at birth. The law, which goes into effect in July, allows people to sue if they encounter a transgender person in a multi-occupancy changing restroom or sleeping space in a public building. Again, that's assuming you even realize that the person is trans. It's just amazing to me how many of these goofballs don't understand that they're not obvious. It depends on where they are in their transition. Now, like I said, I do not know about the penis because I do know that that they don't do the surgery to create a penis as well as a vagina. I don't know if that's improved and that it looks more lifelike. I really don't know. But unless there is something like that going on, how the hell would you know? Anyway, moving on. The law will also allow inmates to sue prisons if they're required to share sleeping space with a trans person who was assigned a different sex at birth than them. Again, that's assuming that they even know that they're sharing a space with a trans person. And again, if I were in a prison as a woman, and because you have to go by the sex assigned at birth, there are certainly trans men that would freak me out and I would not want to share space with. So, how is this helping? And as for trans women, and as for trans women, hold on. Did I say trans man? I meant trans woman. Wait. Yeah, I was right. Trans man. I would not want to share with a lot of trans men. If for no other reason, I'd be like, what the hell is going on? Why am I sharing a cell with a man? And same thing with trans women. They would be forced to go into men's prisons. Now, considering the way men are portrayed, men who've been in prison for a long time are portrayed when they see anything that looks even close to female, they will attack. So you're basically begging trans women to get raped. I mean, I do not see how this is beneficial to anyone. Anyway, Gordon signed the measure quietly on Monday, listing it in a news release about 20 bills that he signed or vetoed that day without discussing his reasoning for signing that bill. Like I said, I could think of a few. The Cowboy State Daily said that his office declined to offer comment on it when asked. State Representative Martha Lawley, a Republican, sponsored HB 72 and said that the bill would make women and girls feel safe. She was likely only referring to cisgender girls and women, since studies have shown that trans girls and women are much less safe when forced to use men's facilities. And that's not even mentioning how safe these women and girls would feel if a trans man were to walk in. I mean, okay, you're still seeing, you're seeing what these anti-trans people, these transphobes, think trans women actually look like. Because they think that they're just men who claim that they're women and just waltz on in without even attempting to look remotely female. And that is not how life works. Again, I bring up the case of Mac Beggs, the wrestler who was forced to, and it was also in Wyoming actually, who was forced to wrestle girls because there was a bill that forced him to enter sports events of the sex he was assigned at birth. And of course, he cleaned their clocks. Now, he didn't want to be wrestling girls. He knew that that was unfair. But the law is the law, so he was forced. Same thing here. And ironically, the transphobes point to that and say, see, men shouldn't be in women's sports. Completely missing the point that they're the reason that Mac Beggs was wrestling girls in the first place. Because that would require deeper thinking, and they're incapable of it. The bill ensures that women and girls can feel safe and respected in a place where privacy is essential. Bathrooms, locker rooms, showers, and correctional facilities, she wrote in an op-ed. LGBTQ plus advocates denounced the bill. Like previous efforts to expel people of color, people with disabilities, and others from communal spaces, these arguments for privacy just make a fear of difference, the ACLU of Wyoming said in a statement. Eroding the fundamental rights of transgender people is dangerous for every one of us. Like I keep mentioning. Okay, what happens when a trans man walks into the women's room? This is why I desperately, desperately, desperately want more trans men in positions of power, like the federal government. Not because I want them to feel uncomfortable, not because I want them to um to um to force trans men to do something they don't want to do. I want it because, number one, what the hell, trans men? Why isn't there more representation? Why aren't you going to the levers of power? I mean, yes, trans women are being more attacked than you, but that's because these transphobes do not understand what it would mean for you guys to be sharing a restroom with cis women, because they do not think of trans men at all. So that's erasure. I mean, in a sense, it's good because you guys can fly under the radar, but the first time you guys use a women's room, people are going to lose their absolute shit and claim that men are trying to use women's bathrooms, completely ignoring the fact that, yeah, it's your law. You made me do it. So I would love for for a trans man to share a restroom with Nancy Mace. I really want that. Just to have her brain explode at the thought that trans men exist. Because, again, I don't think these morons understand that that's a thing. And that you are not making women safer by that, because most trans men most likely are interested in women. Why? Because, like most people, they are straight. So, how is this benefiting women and girls? It's not. Anyway, that's the end of that article. So now this one I find even worse. I know you're probably thinking, how can it get much worse than this? But this is still in the realm of theoretical. Unfortunately, it's a law now, so it's quickly going to not become theoretical. But this is actually showing how these anti-trans laws are actually hurting cis people. And unfortunately, we have to keep beating our chests that this hurts cis people, because that's the only way that cis people are going to get it through their thick skulls that, maybe we should be going after trans people for no fucking reason. Anyway, cops burst into women's restroom to remove a butch lesbian, accusing her of being a man. And the subtitle is, "The only men in the women's restroom were the cops." So come on. This is the logical conclusion to this anti-trans hysteria. If anybody doesn't look womanly enough, they are going to be accused of being a man. Why? Because people can't mind their own fucking business and let women go pee. That's all they're doing. Again, if there was a trans woman in the bathroom, she would most likely be straight. Now, I can't wait to find out how they justified, because, transphobes and the cops, if they actually did anything more than just burst into the restroom and then be like, what the fuck, and leave. I wonder what their rationale is going to be to continue harassing this woman. Because I'm pretty sure that, she's a lesbian. So she actually likes women. So I mean, I guess that's a logical conclusion. Let's kick lesbians out as well because they actually like women. Whereas trans women, maybe, maybe not. Highly likely they don't because, like I said, most people are straight. A cisgender woman in Arizona is speaking out after she says she was harassed by cops in the women's restroom of a Tucson Walmart late last month. Oh, goody! The city I was born in. Yay! Kalea Morton, 19, of Phoenix, says she and her ex girlfriend were using adjacent stalls in the store's women's restroom when two male sheriff deputies entered. They were flashing lights on our feet and saying, "You have to get out of here. You have to come out. We need to talk to you," Morton told Advocate. Jesus Christ, they're paying. Morton, who identifies as a stud, queer slang for a masculine presenting lesbian, says she believes a store employee who had been eyeing her earlier reported her to the cops, believing she was a man. There's so much wrong with that. I mean, eyeing her earlier? So even before she went to the bathroom, this person had a problem with her because they assumed she was a trans woman. I'm sorry, why? So this store employee doesn't think trans people should be allowed to exist at all. Forget the bathroom. This employee doesn't like trans people at all. Wonderful. As the Advocate notes, Arizona law does not dictate that people use public restrooms that correspond with the sex they were assigned at birth. Because not everybody is fucking insane. In social media videos and in her interview with the outlet, Morton said that when she exited the bathroom stall, she lifted her skirt to prove to the deputies that she was a woman. But she said one of the deputies continued to insist she looked like a man. Yes, and some cis women do. Some cis women look manly, some cis men look feminine. So fucking what? She just showed you that she has the right bits. Which, to be honest, she should not have had to do that. Because what the fuck here, dude? On February 19th, Morton posted a brief video of the encounter, showing the two deputies in the women's bathroom. They came in here in the girls' restroom because I'm a girl, and they didn't think I was a girl, so they tried to come take me away. Morton can be heard saying off camera. The only men in the women's restroom were the cops, she said. The incident comes amid growing hostility toward transgender Americans on the political right. Republicans, including the president, have framed laws restricting transgender women's and girls' access to public facilities like bathrooms and locker rooms as efforts to protect cisgender women and girls. And again, completely ignoring that trans men exist, and I would not want to be in a stall with some of them. I mean, dude, what the hell? What do you think trans men look like? Because I could show you plenty of pictures of trans men, and I'm sorry, but I wouldn't want to be sharing. Well, I shouldn't say I wouldn't because I wouldn't give a shit. I'm very European in that regard. I really don't give a shit. But there are plenty of women who, especially the women who freak out about things like this, who would 100% give a shit. And they would be chasing out the very people that they claim that they want to be using the bathroom in the women's bathroom because you think that trans men are just trying to creep on women or something. I should say trans women. Get it right, Susan. All right. But critics have long argued that such restrictions will in fact inevitably lead to greater policing of all women's gender presentations and invasive, potentially dangerous confrontations like the one Morton said she's endured. Exactly. And I mentioned this story before on this channel of a parent, I think it was a father, but I really don't remember, who is standing outside waiting for their son to get out of the bathroom. And he was like 9 years old, but because he had long hair, someone clocked him as a trans woman or female or something. Because again, people don't know how anything works. Now, is it possible that there would be a trans man who would like long hair? Sure. Absolutely. But dude, what century do you live in? When I was growing up in the 70s, that was a thing for men, was to have long hair. 80s, long hair. I'm sorry, where do we live that long hair is only a female thing? Women have short hair. Heck, pixie cuts are popular, or at least they used to be. Pixie cuts are a thing. Men have long hair. I do not know what rock these people live under. But he was accused of being a woman or a girl. And he yelled loudly, "I'm a boy." I mean, seriously, we are now attacking 9-year-olds simply because they don't look in the way we expect them to. No wonder there are so many boys out there who don't feel comfortable, wearing skirts even though they want to wear a skirt. Because they're jackasses who would assume that they must be trans because who else, what kind of guy would wear a skirt, except for the Scots and their kilts. But, other than that, people are so dumb. Just live your lives and leave people be. The Pima County Sheriff's Department told the outlet that authorities are aware of the Morton social media video and have launched an internal investigation into the incident. A Walmart representative said that the company is cooperating with the investigation. I really hope that employee that called the cops gets fired, because what the serious fuck? In a March 1st TikTok video, Morton said she intends to sue. "If someone mistakes me for a guy, I usually just correct them or let it go," she said. "But this was different. This wasn't just someone calling me sir. This was law enforcement trying to remove me from a bathroom where I had every right to be." Not to mention, she showed them her bits. She showed them her labia, her vagina, whatever you want to call it. She showed it to them. She showed them that she is a girl, that she has the bits, and they wouldn't believe her. I mean, because she still looks like a guy. Seriously, if a trans woman is going to go through all the trouble to have bottom surgery, she sure as hell isn't going to look like a guy in every other way. I mean, she might have short hair because, like I said, short hair. And pixie cuts are a thing. But, I mean, what? How? I just do not understand. Some people just desperately want to believe the narrative that they want to believe. They want to believe that butch lesbians must actually be trans men because they must actually be men, not even trans men, but men, simply because they don't look the way they think women should look. Seriously, I desperately want someone to start calling Marjorie Taylor Greene sir simply because of all the muscle she has. Because that's where we're at now as a society. We have to take one attribute and assume that you know everything about the person because of said attribute. She said the confrontation left her afraid. It's already enough being black and facing discrimination, Morton said. Now I have to worry about being harassed just for needing to pee? This isn't just about me, she added. It's about making sure that this doesn't happen to the next person who just wants to use a restroom without being harassed. Exactly. Exactly. I have gone to the store, actually particularly Walmart, and there was a woman with a lower registered voice. Actually, I'm pretty sure she was a smoker, but that's a different thing. But that's just it. She had a lower sounding voice. If I was a bigoted moron, small minded moron, I would clock her as being a trans woman. But because I actually know how shit works, like what smoking does to someone's vocal cords, or the fact that not all women sing soprano, whatever it is, because I actually live in the real world and know how shit works, I didn't clock her as being a trans woman because, number one, it's none of my fucking business. And number two, not doing anything wrong. And number three, I'm pretty sure she was just a cis woman who just, like I said, either she smoked or she just naturally has a lower voice. I mean, when I was in school, I took choir. I was an alto, which is the lowest register of a woman's voice, which means my voice is lower than a male tenor. Okay, that doesn't make me trans. That doesn't make me a man. That just means that I have a lower registered voice. It's just that simple. I'm not sure why people feel the need. I mean, seriously, how miserable is your life? Well, this person does work at Walmart, so maybe their life is that miserable. But still, your life is that miserable that you're going to cause misery for other people? It's one thing to feel miserable in your life, but that's a you problem. You can usually change something. But lashing out at others because of it? That's just dumb. So anyway, that is the last of that article. Let me just check Project 2025 if there's anything new. All right, so like I said, we're 38% complete of Project 2025. There are 45 objectives in progress. 92 are done. And the only thing I didn't mention last time was reinstate Trump's executive order to manage wildfires by reducing vegetation and increasing logging. So he wants to rake the forest. Which, I'm sorry, there are programs out there. I just saw it on the news. There are programs out there that they actually partner with Native Americans because a lot of the indigenous tribes still use gas stoves because they can't afford electricity because of the high poverty rates. So they have a deal with the government that they will take the wood that they cut down in order to decrease the chance of fire spreading. And so it works out for both of them. A nice symbiotic relationship. So that's already happening. And I assume that they also are dealing with whatever vegetation is down there because controlled burns are a thing. So I don't know what he thinks he's accomplishing with that, except for the fact major wildfires existed, so obviously it must be the Democrats' fault. It couldn't possibly be that shit just happens. I mean, granted, maybe because of certain policies, things did go awry. But these practices were in existence. Trump didn't just create them. So, yeah. Anyway, that is all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.